Hey everybody, it's Robot here from Vespa Motorsport and ScooterWest.com, the premier dealership here in San Diego, California. And for all things Vespa, check us out on the web, ScooterWest.com. So say you want to add a battery maintainer to your scooter, whether you have a Vespa GTS, a Primavera, or a Sprint, pretty much all the same steps. Ideally, you want to put a pigtail lead so you can easily plug one of these chargers in without removing the battery every time to connect the clamps to the battery to charge it up. So you have a quick disconnect just to hook right into that. I'm going to show you how to properly install one of these where you have no chance of the wires getting burnt by the exhaust or the engine, and where it's still fairly easily accessible. So you can watch my other video that covers all the various battery chargers we have available at ScooterWest.com. Alternatively, you can buy just the pigtails alone. BAT10 plug, look in the description, you'll see the part number for this. This is the TechMate Optimate battery tender plug, and it's kind of the best one because it's got a nice rubber cap on it. It's also got the combinations to zip tie it to the frame. It's safe because it's got a fuse in it, and we'll just go ahead and jump into the install. Just a couple basic tools are needed. Torx drivers, T25 and T30, a Phillips driver, and two more important items that you want to have for a successful installation. A pair of zip ties. You can find these pretty much anywhere. So start by removing the four fasteners that hold the battery cover. So whether it's a Primavera, Sprint, a GTS, it's going to be this rubber mat in the center, and that's where your battery is located. T25 Torx driver is typically what's used. Some of the older scooters, it would just be a standard Phillips driver. So remove the four screws that can stay in place. They attach to these clips that are built into the floorboard. Next, to make the job a little easier, I recommend removing the battery strap. A T30 Torx driver to remove the battery strap. Keep in mind, this battery strap only goes in one direction. So when you reinstall it, kind of take note of the orientation. Now you have access to your battery that has both the positive terminal and a negative terminal. You want to take your battery charger lead, and there's a hollow cavity right here. You can see the flashlight kind of shining through. You could carefully feed the plug right through that hollow cavity. It's a little on the tight side to get it past the wires. Just go ahead and put it down there. I recommend doing this with a cool engine because you're right around the hot exhaust. And I'll start with the negative terminal. And the negative is a black wire. And pretty much just take the screw out, put the ring terminal in between the screw and the battery terminal, and then retighten this. Make sure these are tight. I see a lot of people have problems, and it's because their battery terminal may be loose. And you could tuck the terminal, kind of bend the tab right there. And you could pull the zip cord back a little bit if you need a little more slack. And a good spot to put this fuse holder, you don't ever really need to access it unless the fuse blows. It kind of will fit right there. And then you're able to have the positive terminal reach the positive ring terminal on the battery tender lead. So go ahead and remove the screw for the positive. Take care not to short against anything. And sorry, my hands are in the way. Go ahead, get the terminal back in. And just like the negative terminal, you're able to bend this down, get it out of the way. But it is important that you don't pinch that wire when you put your battery strap back on, between the frame. The negative wire, if it's pinched, it's not going to be the end of the world, but go ahead and slide your strap back in place. And as you can see, the wire just kind of goes in between the battery and this little gap right here. It's not pinched between the frame. but it's a nice tidy installation. Alternatively, you could tuck the fuse holder right in this well of the battery, kind of. So you want to make sure you're doing this with the engine that's cool. This is your exhaust header. It would be scalding hot if the motor is running. Here is that lead from the battery tender connection. So it just drops right here. This would not be a good spot because it would be touching your exhaust. So what I recommend is going above these two frame tubes, or these subframe tubes. Those are actually the engine isolator for vibration and such. And then at this point we could secure the lead with two zip ties. So I'll start with one towards the back. And you may not want to tighten it all the way until you get your final location. So, and then you could do one right through this connector, or you could just do it right from the wire as well. And kind of route it around this subframe right here. Back through the other side of this connector. And kind of get it positioned where you can get easy access to that cap. You know, something about right there. And go ahead and tighten the zip tie. You can cut the slack off it if you like. And then this other one right here, you could go ahead and tighten that. You can cut the slack off with a set of diagonal cutters or scissors even. And now you have an easy to access but still hidden battery tender plug right here. So you can plug your battery maintainer right into this plug, close it off. Alternatively, you could route this right through the rubber floor mat from the top if you do want very easy access to this charge lead, or maybe you plug in a heated vest or something that would use the same style connector. But typically this is the way I like to do it. I like leaving the clean lines of your Vespa and not having this too exposed, but where you can easily get to it on the ground if you want to charge it, because you're not going to use the scooter for 2-3 weeks. All right, thanks for watching. This is Robot here from Scooter West and Vespa Motorsport. Hit the thumbs up if you thought this video was helpful to you. Consider subscribing if you haven't yet. And until next time, keep the rubber side down. And I know for a lot of you, winter's in full force, so likely you just have your scooter on a battery maintainer. So when it comes springtime, in about 3 months, you'll be able to pull the plug, start the scooter right up, and go on a ride. Thanks again.